Hey, Cub fans. Welcome back to Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. I got some good news. I got some bad news, and I think I'll start with the bad news first. Looks like we've lost Cody Bellinger for a good stint. I'm guessing probably at least a month. Diagnosed with two cracked ribs. Yesterday's game in the fourth inning went back on a fly ball to the right center field gap. The ball popped out of his glove, and sort of as he was negotiating it, he ran into the wall, sort of under his right arm, and stayed in the game. And then he started to show some discomfort, and they pulled him in the seventh inning. So they did the test on it today. So we've got Cody Bellinger's down. He's injured. He's out. Going to be out for I'm going to say 4 weeks minimum, maybe 6, 8, somewhere in there. But that was tough to take today. We just been sort of snake bit. It's still April, and we've just got a ton of injuries, and that's just another one. So all we can do is close ranks, next man up. So PCA made his way to Chicago. He was on the dugout tonight, actually got in, played the last couple of innings in center field tonight. So I entering this game, I'm like, well, somebody's got to step up. You know, who is it going to be? And it seems like we get somebody every game. And that's really what happened tonight. We got Dansby hit a 3-run home run in the first inning, and that was it. And fortunately, the pitching held to hold on to a 4-3 win. But, you know, last night it was Talk. Tonight it was Dansby. We're going to need somebody to step up. I was hoping to see Mervis get rolling tonight. He did not. I was hoping Canario will start to pick up some of the slack, and I still think he might. But we're sort of in a little bit of a quandary with Morel still being in his little funk, and we're just depleted. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. We're 15-9. Taillon and the rest of the guys looked really good tonight. And we've got Assad tomorrow. We got Shota behind that. We got Justin Steele, who to me looks like he's about 10 days, 2 weeks out. And, somehow we're just finding a way. So that's the good news. Let me give you some of the numbers for tonight. We only had 8 hits, walked twice, and struck out 12 times. Left 5 on base. We were 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Dansby's 3-run homer in the first inning was enough. So let's go ahead and give you the lineups, give you a feel for what it looked like early. We had Nico at second base leading off. Tauchman was in center field hitting second. Ian was in left field hitting third. Michael Bush, first base, hitting cleanup. Morel was again at third base hitting fifth. Dansby at shortstop hitting sixth. Mervis was the DH in the seventh spot. Yan Gomes got a start tonight behind the plate in the eighth hole, and Alexander Canario in right field hitting ninth. We scored that run in the first inning. Nico, who went 2 for 4 tonight. Let me talk Nico real quick. I mentioned a few days ago that it looks like Nico has just gone back to slapping the ball the opposite way and has given up on chasing slug, and I still think that's the case. He had another 2-hit night, and not only did he get 2 hits, he lined out hard to right field. So Nico is hitting the ball hard, and he's hitting the ball the other way. He's getting to that high fastball again, so he looks exactly like he looked last year, but I just think he's giving up slug, and he's just going back to what he does well. So Nico led off the game with a single. Hap followed him with a single. Nico to third. Then Bush came up and had a sacrifice fly to center field, scoring Nico. Morel follows that with a walk, and then Dansby comes up with 2 men on, Hap and Morel, and it's a 3-run jack to left. It was a 88-mile-an-hour cutter that didn't cut. It's sort of a little bit of a cement mixer, and it was thigh-high inner third, just sort of sitting there spinning, and Dansby dropped the hammer on it. He had 2 strikes at the time. Exit velocity on that was 105.3, 369 feet. So I just got to tell you, after it happened, that pitch, 89-mile-an-hour cutter that didn't cut, just hung middle of the plate, reminded me of that 365-foot homer that Hendricks gave up on that 88-mile-an-hour four-seamer that didn't move and left it middle. It looked like that same pitch. So you can't throw 88-mile-an-hour middle balls that don't move. Big leaguers hit them hard. So Dansby turned on that. That's the 4 runs. That's sort of the extent of it. So Nico went 2 for 4 with the run score. Talk went 1 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a walk. Ian went 1 for 4. He had two strikeouts. He struck out in the 4th inning with the bases loaded. To me, pretty critical strikeout. Needed him to put the ball in play somehow. And then in the 7th, he hits into a 6-3 double play. We left 5 guys on base, and that was 3 of them. So that gives you an idea of the limited traffic we had pretty much all night. Bush goes 0 for 3. He struck out 3 times tonight. I think he struck out 3 times yesterday too. So all of a sudden, Michael Bush is struggling. He's looking very rookie-ish here of late. Morel went 1 for 3, had a walk, a single, ground out to third, and a strikeout looking in the 8th. Run scored. Dansby, the 1 for 4, just the home run, strikeout. Mervis 0 for 3. His first 2 at-bats, first of all, Mervis looks like he did last night, which looks just like he did last time he was up. So I don't really have any good news on Mervis just yet, but it's still early. He's got, 6 at-bats, somewhere in there. But so far, he just looks like that. Struck out looking in the 1st and the 4th on ball-to-strike curveballs, just kind of froze him. So I don't know, 0 for 3 tonight for Mervis, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get another run at DH tomorrow night. We need him. We need him to at some point find it, and it's still early. We got time. Gomes went 1 for 3, had a single in the 4th inning, and Canario went 1 for 3, his single in the 2nd, strikeout in the 4th. So guys, that's it. 8 hits, 12 strikeouts. It was kind of rough after Dansby's home run. We just didn't get much going. Fortunately, the pitchers held on, and I got to tell you, I felt like it was a Houdini act pretty much since the 3rd inning. I'll give you an interesting figure. The Astros left 10 guys on base, had 10. They just had traffic all night long, and they were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So our pitchers got in trouble, and they worked out of them. Let's start with Taillon. Taillon looked good, and I'm talking about just the eye test. Ball coming out of his hand, nice, comfortable. He didn't quite have the command that I'm hoping we see, but he finishes his night. He goes 5 2/3, gives up 7 hits, just 2 runs, walked 2, struck out 4 through 89 pitches tonight. Got an ERA this year of 1.69. So he goes 1, 2, 3 in the 1st inning with a pop up to first base, a 1-3 ground out, and a 4-3. 9 pitches, 7 strikes in the 1st. 2nd inning, another 1, 2, 3 inning. Fly out to left field, a strikeout, and another fly out to left. So he goes 1, 2, 3 in the 1st and 2nd. Minimal pitches, just throwing strikes. 3rd inning, starts out with a single, gives up a walk. Then he gives up what is a sack, E3 is what it was. Michael Bush had an error tonight, and it was kind of the weirdest thing. It's a comebacker to Taillon, had to get off the mound to his right, and he gets over there in good shape and then sort of lets one go, probably about an 80-mile-an-hour ball over there, but he threw it high, and it was going to be close play, so Bush tries to stretch a little bit, and he gets up maybe on his tiptoes, and the ball just hits his glove, rattles in, and pops out. We've seen that a little bit with Michael Bush. Michael Bush had a little bit of an adventurous evening at first base tonight. He had that error in the 3rd, but he had those lefties were peppering him, and He had an adventurous night at first base, starting with the error in the third inning. So the sac E3, run scored, and Taillon comes back with another strikeout, gives up the next base hit and a run. So that's the 2 innings that the Astros got off Taillon in the third. 23 pitches to get out of that inning. In the fourth, he starts going at 6-3 ground out, gives up another hit. But Ian Happ bailed him out. The guy tried to turn a single into a double, and Happ threw him out, 7-4 put out. So he gets the first 2 guys out that way, gives up another hit and a base on balls in the fourth inning before he gets out of it with a Morel to Nico force. 16 pitches, 10 strikes in the fourth for Taillon. So there's kind of an adventure. Fifth inning, more of it. Fly out to right, fly out to center before he gives up back-to-back base hits. Then we get out of it with a 4-3 ground out. That's kind of how it was. That fifth was kind of the way it was. There was trouble almost every inning. He comes in the sixth. He goes fly out to left field in a strikeout looking. So he's 1 out from getting through the sixth, which was the goal. But he gives up a single. He gives up a double, and then Counsell pulls him. So Counsell pulls him after he gives up a double with 2 outs in the sixth. Brings in Adbert. Adbert then hits the first guy he faces. So now there's 2 on. So again, there's traffic, and Adbert gets out of it with a fly out to center field. Adbert comes in and pitches the first batter in the seventh, gets a fly out to right, and then they got the lefties coming up. So Counsell goes to big Luke Little. Luke came in and he was facing their lefties, Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. And Luke was, I'll call him effectively wild. He just wild enough that it makes for an uncomfortable at bat as a lefty. I think Luke is just going to be a touch wild, and that just makes him real hard to handle. So Alvarez grounded out Nico to Bush, and then Luke strikes out Kyle Tucker. And it just had that look that those 2 lefties, if Luke doesn't get too wild, lefties are just going to have a problem with him. Mark Jr. comes in and pitches the eighth and gets in some trouble. Mark goes base hit to lead off, follows it with another hit. So he's got 2 on, nobody out. Gets a 4-6 force, and Christopher Morel makes a really nice play on a line drive. Lefty hits a line drive and pretty much to his right, but it's high, and he has to go all the way up to catch it. Really a nice play by Christopher Morel to save Mark Leiter. That we had 2 guys on, and that ball was headed to the corner. That would have rattled around. It'd have been trouble. So Christopher Morel made a great play on a line drive in the 8th inning that saved us. And then Mark comes back and gets a strikeout to get out of the inning, and he's juiced. So still hasn't given anything up. ERA of 0 for Mark Leiter, even though it was an adventure in the 8th. So we go to the 9th. Neris, Hector Neris is in to close it out. He's got a 2-run lead. We're up 4-2. Neris comes in, gives up a home run to Altuve to lead off. So now it's 4-3, more adventure. And so he's got 2-3-4 coming up. Well, he just gets nasty, goes 1-3 ground out, strikes out the next guy, and then we finish it with a fly out to Talk in right F9. So, it was kind of exhausting. Every third inning it started, and then pretty much every inning there was stuff, and I was feeling like we weren't going to be able to. The bats were probably done, and I was just holding on the whole game. And there were some times where it sure could have gone the other way, but it didn't. We held on to it. It was a cold night in Wrigley, 40 degrees. Wind was blowing in from right field, but the crowd hung tough, and we hung tough too. It's just going to be very interesting as depleted as we are. I think that the mindset of the starters going 6, I think is a must. I think that has to be. We're going to have to put, I guess, the onus on our starting pitchers with the depletion that we have. they're going to have to go 6. They got to shorten that up. And at this point, it looks like they had Keegan Thompson up. They had Wesneski up in the 8th. Had Mark Leiters Jr. struggled, I think it was going to be Wesneski. But it's going to, Neris came in. He got the job done, but he did give up the home run. So I think the guys we saw tonight with Keegan and Wesneski are going to be the guys that Council relies on. But we have to get our starters, I think, through 6. And offensively, we're just going to try to hopefully get one guy hit a 3-run home run every night. I guess that's what we're going to have to do. But Mervis has got to get going. We need him. Also of note, Hap came out of the game in the 8th inning, and PCA went into center field. Talk moved to right. Canario went from right to left, and that concerns me a little bit. It's not a defensive substitution taking a Gold Glove left fielder out of the game. So I'm just curious if Hap has maybe an issue, maybe the hamstring is talking to him a little bit. So we'll probably hear more about whatever that was tomorrow. But that was the defensive substitution made late, along with Madrigal came in the 9th for Morrell. So I'm hoping there's nothing to that, but. Guys, we're going to have to figure it out. We're going to have to go day by day. We're going to have to get a hero or two, a couple unexpected guys. We got to get Bush back going. We got to get Morrell back going. And so we'll have to get that done. We go for the sweep tomorrow. We got Javier Assad going against future first ballot Hall of Famer Justin Verlander. So we got our work cut out for us. As we came into this series and we saw the pitching lineups, I was really hoping we'd be up 2-0 when we got to Verlander, and we are. So that's the good news. So we get to watch Verlander tomorrow. Hopefully Assad can do what he's been doing. The lineups are going to be interesting every day to see how Council matches everybody up, puts everybody in positions that they can, hopefully be successful. So that's where we are. 4-3 over the Astros tonight, 15-9 overall. We just keep surviving. The injury bug hits, and we just keep moving. So that's where we are. Thanks for joining us here on Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you after the game tomorrow. Go Cubs, go.